What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the Batman 2. At least I think that's what it's called now. Discussing film, posted it in quotations. They never post where they get anything from, so I don't know, source-wise, but it's being speculated that the title of the movie has now been changed from the Batman Part 2 to the Batman 2. Honestly, not a big deal. Don't care too much, especially because the big news of the day is that it was delayed an entire year. This is after it already being pushed, and now we have to wait until October of 2027. I believe October 1st of 2027, being moved from, I think, October 2nd of 2026. That was already kind of far, and I really go into my gaming side and say, okay, when a game's coming out in 2025 or 2026, not that big of a deal. A year or two, we can make it, right? It's not that far away. Look, at the end of the day, is 2027 that far? A little less than 3 years. That is a while. It definitely is a while. A lot can happen in one's life, in 2 years and 9 months. But at the same time, is it far? Yes. Is it that far? I guess depends on who you are. When you talk about movie sequels and you say, okay, well, normally what's the distance between, one movie and its sequel? 2 to 3 years, right? You're not really looking. I mean, it's common. Are there times where it's not so common? I mean, well, I saw like a Tim Allen post on Twitter today about Toy Story. There's a good example. Now, Toy Story isn't necessarily a franchise that I think needs to keep going, but there's one, I think to a troubled franchise in Pirates of the Caribbean, taking, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, in between these entries, and obviously kind of falling apart recently as well. So, I'm not saying that I think this is going to reflect on the quality of the Batman 2. In fact, that's kind of a weird spot of where I find myself in. I trust it. Like, I trust Matt Reeves. I trust from both the Batman and then also Penguin, so good. And I think there's got to just be care in these things, right? And you have to take your time. You have to do things right. And if it takes 5 years or whatever, it ended up being, it takes that long, you know what I mean? I understand it's long to wait. I do think it's silly, when you announce it and you delay it so many times. You kind of wonder like what's going on in the background there. But I think more than anything, yes, there's a little bit of anger or sadness, right? And there's a lot of people throwing out like their ages. They were X old, when one movie came out, and now they'll be wild, when the next one comes out. I mean, I think I'll be 31 by the time. I don't want to be in my 30s, anytime soon, but it's coming, and it'll come when the Batman 2 is out. So yeah, that is disappointing, and it kind of just shows like it's not necessarily normal. Again, the norm tends to be within like 2-3 years. When a movie does that 4 or 5 plus thing, you get into franchise. Well, I mentioned too, right? You and they're kind of different examples. Toy Story is one where it's like highly successful, and even like they're all good, right? Like, some might be better than others, but there's not like an absolutely horrendous one in the franchise. But it's a franchise that kind of like always has to debate whether they want to do more or not, right? So that's like one example, and that tends to be, if a movie takes 4, 5, 6 years between one to the other, it could be for a couple different things. It could be like a pirate situation where it's just a complete mess, or it could be like a Toy Story type thing where it's like they don't even know if they want to do, another movie in the first place. Then you have a movie like this, which I don't even know, like length of time just to like make the script. And, didn't we keep hearing like they're going to start filming soon, or the spring of 25 or summer of 25 or whatever it is. Highly doubt it now, right? Like, how could you're not going to film 2 years before the movie comes out, are you? I mean, maybe, and that'd be fine, I guess, but I don't know. Like, that I guess does go into the part where it does become a little worrying, right? Where it's like, hopefully they got a handle on things, but as long as it comes from care, as long as everybody can still freaking do it, I mean, I highly suggest that you do not take, 5, 6 years between, because if you do it again between 2 and 3, like, I don't know, Robert Pattinson was once a younger Batman, and he won't be, anymore at a certain point. So you just got to be careful with all of that stuff, even Matt Reeves and all that. So hopefully it turns out good. I'm still excited, but again, it does go into my gaming side of things, where how excited can I get for something that's 3 years out, 4 years out, 5 years out, right? I use that kind of analogy for games. For a movie, it's even, I would say, less so. Like, I'll get excited for a movie 2-3 months before it comes out, and unless it's Scream or unless it's the Pirates or something like I'm not gonna get too excited just in general. Something like the Batman, I'm pumped. I loved the Batman Part 1, and I'm really excited for the Batman Part 2. But 3 years from now, like, again, so that's the part where so much can happen, and you just kind of live your life, right? And you just experience and do things. It's hard to get really excited when you're going into 2025 and you got to wait 2 more, and then you got to go almost the entire, third year. So it gets tough to really get hyped about it, at least right now. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icons turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.